Welcome everyone, welcome back to story mode on PlayFrame. We're putting together a banquet so that we can fight a demigod. Sounds silly when I say it out loud, but here we are. So you needed me to deliver something to Vescat, whatever. The captain was always fond of his brandywine. I would be grateful if you could deliver it on my behalf. I was a reckless, angry youth when I first joined the company, and he would have been well within his rights to cast me out. Everything I have I owe to his wisdom and generosity. Vescat was a firm yet fair teacher, an expert molder of men, and I suspect that's still the case now. Please give him my regards, Derman. I will. All right, let's go deliver some brandywine to Vescat and, no doubt, get some more chores. We are being molded, you see. Okay, now you can get a little bit of a better view of the place. Still cloudy, so not quite the full Costa del Sol effect, but lovely, right? Quite so. Okay, guess what I have for you? Well met, Derman. Lontanel and Uod-Nun both spoke highly of you. What brings you here today? The larger quest that you know good and darn well why. A deep caramel-colored spirit made from twice distilling fine red wine and then aging it in rosewood barrels for at least 30 summers. Seems fancy. All yours. Ah, my favorite. I shall have to thank the Noon personally. Now you have but one ingredient left. Fortunately, you will not have to travel to Aldenard this time to obtain it. Great. Sounds easier already. Is it? Vescat would like to tell you about the final ingredient needed for the banquet. Oh, it's not going to be easier. Truth be told, I never intended for you to collect this last ingredient. Brayflox, my old quartermaster, wished to bring it to Costa del Sol herself. However, long ago she sent some word that, or not long ago, she sent word that there's been some trouble at the Longstop, and that the delivery would be delayed indefinitely. She told me nothing of the incident itself, but I fear the situation may be dire. Though I would like nothing more than to aid her myself, I have no choice but to turn to you and your allies. Make haste to Hidden Falls Docks and speak with Ozun Nazun. He'll direct you to Raincatcher Gully, where Brayflox and her people have made their home. Alright. Sounds good. Well, this should be a little bit more exciting, at least. Okay, so we've headed a good ways northwest of Costa del Sol here. And now... there you are. Ozun Nazun. What's the hurry, venturer? Huh? Something happened over at the Gabi settlement. I don't know why you're so eager to help a bunch of beastmen, but go and talk to the skipper over yonder. She'll ferry you to Raincatcher Gully. Ooh, Gobbies. Gobbies are fun. I would like to ride, please. We're going to Raincatcher Gully. Are you coming along? You bet I am. So then, Raincatcher Gully. Where are we? Oh, we kind of like crossed from like this chunk of the region over to this chunk around here. Cool, okay. Nice. Slightly more of a forest vibe here, that's fun. I do love how much variety they get. Like, as you can tell, we're spending most of A Realm Reborn kind of in just 3 regions. The surroundings of each of the 3 main city-states, Thanalin, the Black Shroud, and Lenosha. But I like that within each of those 3 larger regions, there's actually quite a lot of biome variety. Like, not a wide range of it, but enough to where it feels like, yeah, this definitely feels like a different part of Lenosha than the part I was just in. It's kind of nice. And later in the game, we'll be exploring tons of other different locales, but I think it is actually pretty good that A Realm Reborn has you spend a lot of time in these 3 general city-state locations. It really gives you a lot of time to settle in and get familiar. Alrighty. Ah, Brayflox. Brayflox all talks. You sound fun.
Tongue flaps of Vescat be reaching ears of Brayflox. Uplander has come for tasty fresh Gabi treats, yes?
Oh, the tasty freshiest.
Quest prize of Uplander deep in Longstop. Flighty beast chased Gobbyflock for homes. Gobbyflock needs goodly Uplander give safety to Longstop with much hand-lending.
For those of you who had some difficulty parsing that, 1, we have a new dungeon we have to go do now, Brayflox Longstop. We'll do that in a second. 2, the Gabi speech pattern, which is very cute. Like, At one point, the kind of like one of the main English localizers of the of Final Fantasy XIV has like talked about how like kind of the creative process of coming up with some of these speech patterns, and goblins apparently, like a lot of their language is built from kind of like combining different words to create new meanings, and they kind of do that a good bit with the English or the spoken language in the game for words where like they don't necessarily know the word we would use, but they'll combine two of the quote-unquote English words they know, the Eorzean words they know, to communicate what they're trying to say, which is why you get stuff like Gobbyflock, which is sort of like like her group of goblins. Backtake. Must first backtake the Longstop. They want me to take back the Longstop. So, pretty close. You almost got there, Brayflox. Anyway, okay, I need to put together a wrecking crew for this here dungeon, so be right back. Okay, I've got us a squad, and I would introduce them, but there's a bit of a gimmick going on with this crew. I think it'll be easier to just show you once we get in there, so let me go ahead and queue up for Brayflox's Longstop. You know, maybe I should have been reading some of these descriptions. After a tiring journey across Eorzea, it is deep within the quiet jungles of Raincatcher Gully, where the charismatic and enterprising young goblin, Brayflox Alltalks, chooses to build her tiny empire. What she does not realize, however, is that something else, something sinister, has also made the lush forest its home. Now driven from their rightful claim, Brayflox and her brethren seek to retake the land and are not above asking for the help of lesser races, that would be you, to help them do so. Excellent. All right, we go. And here we are. This one's fun. And rather pretty. Big. Welcome to Brayflox's Longstop. Now let's get a look at our crew. Oh my goodness. Oh my very, very goodness. You goofballs. So, we have here in our party, we have Zana, who will be playing Red Mage, and is just looking super casual and chill. I very love it. Very cozy and comfy. We also have two alt characters of some of our regulars, who are, as I can tell, Mikote variants of Alphino and Alice. So we have Nialice Levelure and Alphino Levelure. And it's very good. I give you full credit. I thumbs up at you. Top notch. That they managed to get that dance in sync before I could even, like, be out of the cutscene is also really impressive. Okay, we need to go do a fight. A lot of them, actually, and that means I should probably tank up. So, to work. Let's see here. Who is everybody? So, it looks like, Nialice will also be a red mage, so we've got two red mages in the crew, which is fun. And Alphino is playing the newest addition, or one of the new additions to the class list, the Sage, one of the new healing classes. It's got 4 floaty little laser guns, like every good healer should have. All right. We are coming up to our first boss. The Great Yellow Pelican. Never really noticed its name before. Love it. It's got backup, so I should keep all of them pointed at me and everybody pointed away from my party. I was about to say everybody pointed away from everybody, but that would have just been confusing. And now I'm poisoned. We're going to be dealing with a lot of poison in this forest jungle. It's not a jungle, it's just a forest. Even so, a lot of poison. Nope. But yeah, this boss, fairly straightforward, nothing too complicated, a little poison to deal with, and also some more ads are going to pop up any old minute now, assuming we don't kill the thing first. Whoop. Also the occasional danger puddle, but that's just a given. Honestly, well, okay, well, there's new ads, but they're too late. All right. We collect treasure and we go. Now, one of the gimmicks with this particular dungeon is that there are some other gobbies just kind of wandering around, and we're going to try to save them See, here we go, a Goblin Pathfinder. We're trying to save the gobbies from all the monsters that are running around, and if we do, they will give us some goodies, like a little treasure. Because they're very grateful. And cute.
Many thanks, many thanks.
You bet, anytime. I kind of love that time of day still, like, takes effect even inside dungeons. So, like, the sun is setting as it gets later into the evening out here. Boy, just perpetual apologies to everybody who joins me on these dungeon runs for my tanking. If we get... Oh, goodness, let's save another gobby. If we get far enough in this playthrough to where we get to other expansions, I'll probably start changing up jobs a bit. Maybe I won't be a tank for a little while. And then, when I... when I do a less good job, it won't be quite as noticeable. For my companions. There you go, Goblin. You're welcome. Thanks for the treasure. Appreciate it. Okay, next boss. Here we go. The Inferno Drake. Come here. This boss is also quite straightforward. Not a whole lot you need to worry about. Honestly, most of the dungeons, well, I say that. Most of the dungeons in A Realm Reborn are pretty straightforward, nothing too big and scary. They all have like little gimmicks, but nothing too bad. Like we've got Brayflox charging through here, being chased by another smaller little Drake, who I'll be distracting any moment now. More fastness, more fastness! You're fine, Brayflox. We got you. Now we fight both Drakes, and then we win. Nice and easy. The further we get into the game, though, the more complex the fight mechanics will slowly get. To the point where even your basic dungeon run bosses can prove quite challenging. But in a fun way. No, you pay attention to me. You dare be distracted by my companions? Listen, I know the little cat twins are adorable, but we're fighting. And it's just rude to ignore the tank who's working very hard to provoke you. And there we go. Oop, can't be forgetting that. By the way, if any of you watching are not players of 14, I know there's a fair many of you, if there's something about dungeons and these fights that are like really difficult to parse that you don't really understand, feel free to ask either... Well, yeah, just ask in the comments, and I'll try to answer in videos so everyone can know, but I imagine other commenters will be able to answer any one of your questions, no problem. I've not really talked a whole lot about, like, the abilities I'm using or the abilities other folks are using, just in the interest of not just really getting too in-depth into mechanics in this story playthrough, but I can totally talk a little bit more about that if that would help to clarify some things and make watching this stuff more enjoyable. So just, by all means, let me know. All right, now for the next boss. I forgot there were 4 in this one. The Hellbender, which sounds way more intimidating than it is. It kind of almost looks cute, honestly. This one's got slightly more mechanical complexity to it, just a little bit. We'll have some things that we need to dodge, like always. Like this little danger puddle here. Can't be standing in that. But at some point, it's going to spit out a bubble. It's going to spit that bubble out, and while anyone is stuck in that queer bubble, they are unable to do anything. So the rest of us need to break them out of it by attacking the bubble as quickly as possible. You want to do that as quickly as possible, no matter what, but especially if it's like your healer in there. You really don't want your healer incapacitated at any time. It's bad for everyone involved. But this fight does have another little gimmick to it. After a certain little while, once you've fought this thing a bit... Oh, goodness, another bubble. We are interrupted. The Hellbender dies, and our main final boss drops in. Ayatar, the dragon. The poisony dragon. But Ayatar doesn't stay super long right here at this moment. No, 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 we're going to that final battle in just a bit. Perhaps at some point I'll do like a little bonus video talking about what all of the jobs in the game are. And also sort of explaining like the very basic of the roles they each play in party combat. Just so, like nothing super in-depth or anything, just enough so that folks who are just kind of casually watching who don't play a lot of MMOs or have no interest in playing 14 can kind of maybe parse just slightly better what's happening on screen. Maybe I'll do that eventually. Anyway, it's time for our final boss. Yes, at last. We fight Ayatar the Dragon properly. Come along, squad. There are a few more important mechanics to this fight. Nothing too wild, but positioning is somewhat more important this time. For one, you don't want to stand in the dragon breath. That'll get you super hurt and poisoned. So that's lesson uno. Lesson 2 is actually do your job right, which I'm not doing as well as I could, but the rest of my crew is very good at what they do, as always, so nothing to worry about. Nope, no dragon breath. No to that. Eventually, Ayatar is going to start dropping some poison around. And that is going to be a little bit more of a concern. Here we go. Toxic Vomit. That move sprays a little, like, leaves a pool of toxin on the ground. You don't want to get hit by the initial blast because that does some damage and also poisons you. You don't want to stand it because it'll poison you. You also don't want Ayatar to be standing in it because it heals Ayatar. So whenever those poison puddles get dropped on somebody, we need to make sure Ayatar's nowhere near it. Because if Ayatar's standing in it, it is getting healed. And that's not good for us. Hey, don't knock me back. And if the fight goes on too long, there can be a lot of puddles in a lot of places, which can start making maneuvering the boss around a little tricky. And as the tank, the person who's supposed to be getting hit, maneuvering the boss around is my main responsibility. In addition to being the one who's getting hit and making sure nobody else is taking damage, positioning the boss is my job, making sure they're not standing in places where they're going to get healed by their own toxin, but also making sure that all the damage dealers who can sometimes do more damage by attacking enemies from behind or from the side, can easily position themselves to do the most damage. And we win. Good job, crew. I love the comfy, casual clothing on Zana. Also, very much enjoying our cosplayers. Thank you, everyone, for joining. You did excellently. Thank you for the pats. Yes, that's a thing that's going to happen if you play a Lalafell in this game. Characters are going to pat you on the head pretty much all the time. That's just a thing that happens. But yes, thank you very, very much to our very good participants in this good fight. Oh goodness, there's also gobbies.
There, Thunderclaw is blood and bile.
Good. Yes, you're welcome for the help. Anyway, okay. Thank you, everyone. I give you a wave, and we head out. Right, the treasure. I can't be forgetting the loot. Right. Of course. Let's go. And we're out, and it's very nighttime, but Brayflox, I think you're going to be very pleased.
Pshka. Goodly Uplander has thanks of Gobbyflock. Fighty Beast, or Flighty Beast, was tricksy foe, but Uplander outwitted with plans making. Uplander has goodly head for Fighty Think.
Thank you.
Brayflox happy gives tasty fresh gobby treats to clever Uplander.
That's exactly what I'm here for, thank you.
Cheese is stinky sweet gobby treat. Special make with secret gobby arts. No party complete without gobby gouda, Brayflox every say.
Oh, your lines are fun to read. Anything else to say?
Longstop is home of Gobbyflock, crafty built by Gobby hands. Then Flighty Beast comes and claims Longstop as lair. Brayflox cannot abide. Brayflox and Gobbyflock backtake with Uplander handlending.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better. Okay, let's go deliver the cheese. Viscat, I have for you cheese. I gather you solved Brayflox's little problem. That I did. The pungent odor of this hard yellow cheese, veined with blue-green mold, is most comparable to the warm, damp boot of a zombie after stepping in ripe chocobo dung. Goblins claim it's a delicacy, but then again, they have their masks to filter out the aroma. They do. Hadn't thought about that. By the gods, that unholy stench. This is definitely goblin cheese. Judging from the smell, this should be quite flavorful. How was it made? It's best you remain ignorant of such things. I shall remember when I learned what kind of milk they use. Ugh. Yeah, I think I'm going to ask no further questions about the cheese. Anyway, you're welcome. Can I know about Titan yet, or no? Biscuit would like to congratulate you on a job well done. Bravo, Derman. Thanks to you, our guests shall be honored with a marvelous banquet. But what good's an exotic feast without an equally exquisite aperitif? Which is, I think, how you say that word. Luckily, I know just the person to ask. Make your way to Wineport and seek out Shamani Lamani, another former member of the company. All you have to do is give him this order slip. He'll take care of the rest. Oh, and if you're wondering if this is merely a ploy to test your patience, I assure you I do actually need that wine. And while you're there, give Shamani Lamani my regards. Okay, still chores. That's fine. And here we are in Wineport. Give you 3 guesses what they make here. If you guessed ports, you are correct. And this is Shamani Lamani. Hello. Sweat, grime, and blood. Ah, you reek of blood. An adventurer, unless I'm mistaken. What brings you to Wineport? I've got a letter. An order made out to Wineport, Vintner Shamani Lamani. There you are. An order? Let me guess. A request for the finest vintage I can muster. The paper smells of loam and perfume. Costa del Sol. And there's also the unmistakable odor of goblin cheese. Yes, Master Gegaruju would not settle for anything less than the best. Dierstvitz and his crew must be quite busy preparing for an exotic's feast, hence his decision to rely on an adventurer. Perhaps you're confused. This display of deduction was not intended to impress you. When one loses his vision, he's forced to compensate in other ways. But you've no interest in my affairs. You wish only to discuss the wine, I suspect. I mean, I'm here for both. Just kind of killing time, apparently, while Titan is on the loose. Shamani Lamani would like to discuss wine with you. Oh, please. Life can be so delightfully unpredictable. I always had a passion for wine, but it wasn't until I was forced to retire that I could pursue it as more than a mere hobby. It wouldn't have been possible if not for the savings I amassed during my time as a mercenary, of course. Say what you will about the nature of that work, none can deny that it pays well. But you grow impatient, and Viscat must have his wine. Herein lies the problem. Nothing in my possession is of sufficient quality for this occasion. The best vintages in town are hoarded by Bierglent, who owns and operates the largest winery in Vilbrand. Somehow I doubt he'll be receptive to your request, but given these circumstances, we must needs beg his assistance. Well, all right. I need help from someone else to get the wine, then. But fortunately, that someone is close. Hello, I'm here for wine. Bierglent. What rank amateur bottled this wine? The impurities have rendered it nigh undrinkable. Dismissal is too good for the man responsible. He should be made to drink every drop of this polluted swill. What is it? I'm in the middle of an important discussion, and I do not care for interruptions. That neophyte vintner bid you speak with me. Ha! Neither you nor your friend has the palate to appreciate the subtle qualities of my private stock. I would sooner serve you Gubu urine than sell you the worst vintage. Begone from my sight. That's not helpful. I will leave you to shout at this person while I go shout at another person. Shamani, it didn't... I don't know what I was trying, but it didn't work. I take it he said no? Really, in those words? Well, I cannot say that I'm surprised. While there's no denying his passion and skill, the wine baron of Limsolaminsa is not a man known for his tact. Very well, we shall have to take an alternative approach. Okay, what are you thinking? Shamani Lamani has another bright idea. Well, I'm all ears. There is a chance, however small, that another resident of Wineport can furnish us with a suitable wine. In fact, had you come several years ago, I guarantee this would not be a problem. Alas, the quality of our product has declined significantly in recent years. The only breeds cultivated these days are common lowland vines, which isn't to say that their grapes are of poor quality, only that we have known better. Long ago, the Vignerons or Vignerons
which one? Of Wineport crossbred several species and produced a grape-bearing vine of never-before-seen quality. Bacchus grapes were once the pride of this town, as they were used to produce vintages which surpassed all others, and this includes the most aromatic, the most complex, the most flavorful of all wines. Aye, the legendary Bacchus wines were born right here in Wineport. Pardon my enthusiasm. You see, once I had the privilege to sample that particular wine, it was an otherworldly experience. In that moment, I felt as though I had tasted the nectar of the gods themselves. I transcended my mortal flesh and was one with all creation. But, as is all too often said, the calamity changed that. The Bacchus vineyards were completely destroyed, along with much of the existing stock of Bacchus wine. What little remains is closely guarded by its owners, for it can no longer be made. If we cannot convince Bierglent to part with his wines, our next best option, as ridiculous as it sounds, is to find someone who has a bottle of Bacchus wine and to offer them every gill we can spare. I've heard rumors that one of the vignerons, still need to learn that word, tending the vineyards, boy, might have once owned a bottle. Perhaps you could start by speaking with them? Starting to get words wrong. Let's see, seems like there's a couple of... I guess I should just choose a pronunciation and go with it for now. Let's see, vignerons. Sounds dumb. Hang on, I'm looking it up. Oh, vigneron. Okay, so that's how it's said. That makes sense. That's way better than my two guesses, which were wrong. But now we know. Vignerons. What? Do I have Bacchus wine? I wish. I never had the chance to try it myself. Sorry, friend, but you're a few years too late. Bummer. All right, well, we still have another vigneron to talk to. Now I know how to say the word, I'm going to say it all the time. Gotta make good on that investment of, what, 10 seconds to learn how to say it, right? Now I will sound fancier at parties. Excuse me. Bacchus wine? Don't remind me. Used to have a cellar filled with this stuff. Thought I could keep the wine safe from thieves and the elements. Never counted on a bloody primal blowing up my goddamned house. Sounds rough. You know, in comparison, my problems seem relatively small. Granted, my problem is going to become everyone's problem if I can't get this feast put together in time to stop a demigod. Again, still sounds pretty silly, said out loud. No luck, Most regrettable, but we had to try. Ah, but Bacchus wine would have been perfect for the occasion. Though I must confess, my certitude could be due in part to my personal history with the beverage. It is, after all, the very reason I decided to become a vintner. Starting to worry that I've got that word wrong too. I'm second-guessing everything. After Titan blinded me in our battle beneath Ogomoro, I fell into a deep depression. It wasn't until I tasted Bacchus wine for the first time that I realized there was still so much I could experience, even in my condition. It helped me to find a new direction in life. It breaks my heart to think what wondrous ambrosia which once filled me with hope may be forever lost to us. Well, I'll see what I can do. I don't want much of this. I'll take this one. Thank you. Shamani Lamoni appears to be in deep thought. I must say, this talk of Bacchus wine has made me rather nostalgic. Indeed, there is much I miss about my life with the company of heroes. After everything the captain's done for me, I cannot bear to disappoint him. Have no fear. I swear that I shall find a suitable wine for the banquet, though I may need some time to think of a solution. In the meantime, there is a favor I'd ask of you. 2 years ago, in the deepest depths of my despair, I stumbled across Vilbrand as a vagabond drunk. I suspect I was looking for a place to die, because I very nearly found one not far from here. It was there that a man named Drest took me in and nursed me back to health, and it was he who gave me my first taste of Bacchus wine, which helped me to find my new calling. Though I am still a novice in the arts of winemaking, I'd like him to know that I am pursuing my dream. This wine is my own original creation, and I would be most grateful if you delivered it to him in my stead. Drest sometimes works at the Raincatcher Gully docks, so perhaps Ritzkilt can tell you where to find him. All right, where is this Ritzkilt? As much as people do rag on a Realm Reborn's kind of more water-treading quest lines like these, I do actually really appreciate that they are willing, in a Realm Reborn and onward, they are willing to make time for small problems in the main story. Just little issues, small, quieter parts of life now and then. Like, it's a thing that I appreciate. Dressed? Oh, you mean the hermit. I toss him a few gil when we need an extra pair of hands. Doesn't talk about himself, and I sure as hell don't ask. When a man's got a face with scars like that, you best leave well enough alone, I say.
If you've a mind to find him, though, then head southwest to Severed String. Oh, okay. I'll do that. Pretty out of the way, this area. It's kind of off in a little nook corner down here. I believe our person is in here. Yes, there you are. Hello, Dressed. What do you want? Well, let's see. Shamani Lamani's first attempt at winemaking. At least the name sounds legitimate. Lamani Rosso. There you are. Wine? I didn't ask for this. Who sent you? Oh. You alright? You don't seem 100% alright. Dressed is suffering from extreme duress. Can't sleep. They won't let me sleep. The midges, the buzzing, it keeps me awake. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I won't fight. I don't want to fight. Please make the buzzing stop. Just make the midges go away. Midges, huh? Like, you mean outside? I think I saw some bugs outside on the way in. Here, I'll take care of it. There we go. Just gonna swat a few bugs. Or 5 of them. 5 swarms of bugs. Okay, this could take a little bit longer. Hang on, let me just take care of 5 swarms of bugs. But yeah, I think that the game frequently makes time to have you take care of, like, small problems, small everyday problems for average people. Even well past the early game when you were, like, a hero of the realm and have taken on huge, dangerous challenges that could have potentially ended the world. The fact that, like, you may then go back for a little while to just helping people with something small because they need it. It's kind of really nice. It helps the world feel a little bit more lived in, and it helps to keep things a bit grounded so that when you're back to doing something big, it feels big and important again. It helps to, like... It helps to kind of keep the feel of scale manageable, right? So where, like, you're not just constantly fighting world-ending threats all the time to the point where that just feels like sort of the the everyday thing that everyone in this world deals with. It's a good narrative touch, I think. It's not so loud anymore. Did you do that? Thank you. You helped me. Even after what my comrades and I did to your country. Wait, what are you talking about? We were on a reconnaissance mission when the Maelstrom caught us by surprise. We tried to escape, but the others... no one else survived. I didn't ask for this, damn it. I'm not even Garlean. They conquered my lands just like they tried to conquer yours. I don't want to die in some blasted jungle halfway around the world. I just want to go home. I think Dressed might be Alamegan. That is my assumption here. A lot of Alamegans having a hard time in this Eorzea, or this what remains of Eorzea. Dressed appears to be in greater control of his faculties. Oh, good. I wish to thank Shamani for the wine. That was overly kind. Would you be willing to bear a gift back to him? Last night at Red Mantis Falls, I collected the sap from nearby palm trees. If placed in coconut shells and stored for a few bells' time, it makes for a fine wine, see. Should be ready by now. I left 3 shells out there. Please, take them to Shamani for me. I'm glad he's moved on with his life. I hope to one day do the same. I hope that too. Good luck. Okay, let's see about collecting the palm wine. Where is... Ah, here we go. Oh, down here in the water. Okay, let's see. Collect. Excellent. And here is 3. Perfect. Okay. Let's deliver this back to Wineport. Shamani, I got wine. Sorry, there we go.
It's been some time, Derman. What news do you have of Dressed?
Well, not news, but I have palm wine. Sap of a palm tree fermented inside an island coconut shell. Far more potent than wine made from grapes. Palm wine, if brewed for too long, can cause loss of eyesight or even death. Yikes. That's some intense wine.
Ah, yes, I recall he did have some knowledge of winemaking. A simplistic but nevertheless effective method that utilizes the natural properties of palm sap. I shall have to enjoy this batch before it spoils. We are not so different, Dressed and I. 2 men who have long struggled not to let our scars define us. I worry that he's been alone with his thoughts for far too long. Aye, it's past time I paid him a visit. Thank you for looking after him, Derman.
Hey, you bet. Happy to help. You know what? We're going to continue this quest chain next time because I don't think there's any way we're getting it done today. Still a bit to go. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time for some more chores, but then also maybe Titan. We'll find out together. Goodbye!